Hi everyone, Elizabeth here. Welcome to part two of how much does it cost to build a house. Last time we talked about construction cost only, which really just means all of the materials and labor it takes to actually physically build your house. But as you might have guessed, there are a lot of other costs that go along with building a house. There are a lot of fees for consultants, engineers, designers, permit, all that sort of stuff. So right now I'm going to just break down what those other fees might be. Obviously, though, the first other cost is the cost of the land or the property. So you might have bought a piece of property for, I don't know, a couple $100,000 or $500,000, depending on where you are. And that property might have come with a house on it already that you're tearing down, or it might come as bare land. In either case, there are going to be costs to making that land ready to build your house. Number one, you're going to have to tear down an existing house if there is a house there, which we do encourage some people to do, because when you buy a little house that really needs to be torn down anyway, or it doesn't have much value to it, we acknowledge that you're tearing down something that exists, but often it's in not good repair, already. It's got mold, it's got very low ceilings, it's not really exactly what we would call livable. And tearing that house down, costs maybe 20 to 40 grand, and it does add to the landfill, and we don't like that. But if you measure everything in the big picture, sometimes that's what we end up doing. And when you get a house like that, you already have on property a piece of property that's been developed, the trees have been taken down, you've got well, you've got septic, you've got driveway, you've got electric, all to the property, all to probably the house location that you want to build on. So that's a tremendous amount of value that you're getting with that piece of property. Because if you start with a fresh piece of land, you're going to get trees and no electric, no septic, no well, and it's a lot of money to clear a piece of land, bring in a driveway, bring in all those utilities. There are pros and cons to each. Then you've got your architecture fee. Let's go back to fees. Architecture fee for about $150,000. You've got engineering fees, which means structural engineer. That's the person who helps make sure the house is going to stand up and not fall down, beams, columns, foundations, all that sort of thing. You've got your civil engineer, who makes sure the land is good for water runoff, septic, well, all that sort of stuff, driveways, that the land is graded properly. Those are civil engineers. You don't always need one of those, but a lot of times you do. And you absolutely need a surveyor. Those are, not very costly, but somebody to mark down where the house is going, what the setbacks are, and make sure that the house is getting through permit properly. All of those engineers can cost you anywhere from, I would say, $40,000 to $80,000 for a new house. Less, of course, if you're doing an addition, and less, of course, if you don't need the civil engineer because your town doesn't require that. But most towns do now because of environmental issues. Other people that you might need for a house are an energy modeler. We use energy modelers a lot on our greenhouses because they help us decide what the value is in adding insulation versus the end cost of running your house, your utility costs, your cost of your mechanical equipment, and that sort of thing. And plus, they can help you get rebates from the state and federal government, tax incentives, and all that kind of thing. So we're often using energy modelers on our houses, but many people don't use an energy modeler because they're not taking it to the level we are. Then some people decide to hire interior designers, landscape architects, lighting designers, whole house control system subcontractors who design all of your house controls, audio consultants, that kind of thing. All of those people can just add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars more. And that's great. If you want that kind of stuff and you have the finances, great way to go. You'll have a fantastic house. But it's not necessary. If you don't want to spend money on all that stuff, you do not have to. And then finally, of course, there's the permit fee. How much is a permit fee? It's about 1% of your total cost of the house. So if the house costs $1 million, your permit fee is probably around $10,000, maybe 15, somewhere in there. So as you can see, it all adds up to a lot. And, so $1 million of construction costs can add up to about 1.6 million when you account the contractor's markup, the architect's fee, all the engineers, and all the other fees. Oh, and then the cost of the land. So probably a $1 million house costs more like $2 million. Let's look at the math. Okay, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time when we talk about building green.